Pedro Porro are going to be discussing so far this season under Thomas Frank, whether he's improved, whether he's declined or stayed the same performance-wise. So stay tuned to the very end to get your thoughts. I'm very keen to anyway on Pedro Porro, and also if you stay tuned you get mine. And I'm going to be explaining why I think Pedro Porro is really significant at the moment under Thomas Frank. If you're new, please like and subscribe. So Pedro Porro, I think we can all agree, is a player that's heavily relied on under Frank, like he was under Ange, playing lots of games. I think that's because A, he stays fit a lot of the time, B, I think he consistently puts in high-level performances, and C, I think he can be trusted. I think he is Mr. Dependable, Mr. Reliable to an extent. And so far this season, I think he's been a really good player. Don't get me wrong, there have been games in there where his performance has dropped a little bit. When Porro plays bad, he seems to stand out a lot. He doesn't seem that person just has, a little bit of a, not quite his day. I think it's either, he's really good Porro and he's having impacts with balls in the box, with assists, looking to score goals in particular, or he just falls off a cliff, which it doesn't feel like there's any in between, but that's just how it comes across to me anyway as a fan. But one thing's for sure, and that is that Pedro Porro has been improved, I would say, this season, and up to you want to give credit for. I think he's been better defensively. I think he was getting better under Ange, so I don't think Frank should take all the credit for that. But I just think Porro the other day, ball over the top in a couple of different games, and I just think he done very well to deal with the situation. In the past he would have panicked. I do worry about Porro 1v1, and I think that's what comes back into the whole previous video and discussions I've had about, I think, Jez Spence should now be a right back, and I think to have them two competing is really good, because you play like a Manchester City, or you have the privilege of playing like a Real Madrid in the Champions League, then Spence is better defensively, better 1v1, but Porro in you play a low block team, I'd much rather Porro at right back. The dog is well left back, I think has a lot more to offer going forward than Spence does on that side, than Davies does on that side. So it's all about games and stuff like that. But Porro, I think, has been very good. I think he's very reliable, and I just think he's such a likeable guy and clearly gives passion 110% on the pitch. And sometimes he isn't perfect, and like the other day, I think it was Manchester United in a way, I think it was, and maybe a couple of games before that, Chelsea, where his balls in the box weren't up to the usual standard. But I think Porro's a player, in my opinion, that gets way too much criticism. I think Porro's one of the best right backs in the league, and we'll sit here and go, he's the best. He's one of the best. His crosses, I think, are fantastic. I really do. I think he has got a shot on him. He shoots too much because he scored a couple of screamers, didn't he? I think one or two of them coming actually against Burnley, and one was in the cup, wasn't it? Where we won 1-0. Was it FA Cup or League Cup? I can't decide. I won't say FA Cup. But it was a pile driver, wasn't it, that scored a little impressive goal that kind of swerves in the air, almost like he took a deflection, but didn't. But the point is, Porro is good going forward. There's no doubt about it. And Porro, we knew his weakness was defensively. We knew he was good going forward. But this year, I think he's improved defensively, in particular 1v1 defending, a little bit more discipline under Frank, and we've improved drastically. I think a lot of it is Porro himself has improved defensively, but also he's got a backline that's improved. And when you have a consistently starting backline and midfield, and when you're conceding less goals and you're keeping clean sheets, it gives confidence to everyone. I think Porro's benefiting from Thomas Frank in that way. I really do. I just think Porro, of course, can get even better, but I think right now he doesn't get the credit he deserves, because I think he's a really, really good full-back. I think he's difficult to play against. He's really dynamic going forward, and people forget he was actually started his career as a right winger, then a right wing back. So to learn to defend is a new thing for him, and I think he's, all things considered, doing a good job. He's not perfect. I think we all are a Porro 1v1 and back to the box kind of thing, but he does well with things considered. I think he's one of those players within the fan base that will get a little bit of criticism. I don't think it's fair. Do I worry about him being overloaded or workloaded? Do I worry about that? Yes and no. No, because he's done it before under Ange and he's doing it again now. He's playing lots of games, but I want to say yes in terms of when a player plays that much, do you go, is there a breaking point? And that's why it's critical Spurs sign a left back in January and have him compete with the doggies. Spence can move back over to right back and ease the burden of Porro. I'm a big believer that you have a set in stone I'm a big believer, I should say, that you don't have a set stand 11, but you have in your head kind of a best 11 or close to 11, as much as that kind of nailed down as possible. But people understand, they've got to understand the importance of rotation. Doesn't mean you're being dropped. Fans are like, oh, he's been dropped, but at the same time, you can't just say, oh, you're not going to have a starting striker or anything like that. You do. Just getting that balance. So with Porro, I like him, I really do. I think he's a player we should absolutely be keeping. His value's only going to go up and up. I think he's improved under Frank defensively. Still think he has a lot to offer going forward. Sometimes I wish he'd calm down a little bit, find him a little bit erratic, giving the ball away. He's lovable, though, Porro, so I think we can forgive him. So I like Porro. There is definitely vulnerability in there. You know, if you're a top team and the game's tight, I think what Porro, you could force into an individual error. I think he does have a moment of a little bit of madness in him, but I think he's a really good fullback and he doesn't sometimes get the credit for it. So, summary in this video, Porro is improved under Frank defensively. Really like him going forward. I think he's a great player. He should be Tottenham starting right back. Doggy should be Tottenham starting left back. The players we've got to keep hold of the club. They are better, really good players. And I think Porro right now are getting to most, if not all, top 6 clubs. They really do. I think Liverpool having a fullback crisis is getting there. I think probably Man City maybe just about squeezing there. Chelsea, I'm not quite sure about, but there's some that you're definitely getting there. Arsenal, even maybe, although I think Timber's very good. I think that's a conversation to be had for sure. I'll leave that combined 11 video for the other day, another day for sure. But Porro is very good. I think get serious criticism. I really like him. I think City made a mistake to let him go, and I think he's been a great signing and offers so much going forward. He's a very good fullback offensively, and that's very key. And we struggle right now at home. We struggle to score goals. Porro's key in terms of offensive. He drives the ball, not afraid to take on his man. So yeah, Pedro Porro, I really do like. I think he's a very good player and I think he has improved under Thomas Frank. But if you're new, please like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Do you think Pedro Porro has improved, declined or stayed the same under Frank? I don't think it's a drastic improvement. I think some players there are, don't get me wrong, the players that have improved, not necessarily players maybe they're here before at Tottenham, but generally, like if you talk about Kudus, Paulinho, these are all players that have improved. New signings, there are a couple of others as well that are already within Spurs, like Mickey van der Ven, that I think have been most improved. But Porro has improved for me. If you're new, like, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and come on, you Spurs. You know I can't live without you.